And we're live.
Here we are. We're live, Zach.
We're live.
OVAthletics.com STREAMcast. Brought to you by our great sponsors at Ohio Valley Nutrition. I'm Jeff Stevens, co-host Zach Clem.
We're dividing and conquering tonight because we're live on a Friday night. So you and I are doing the STREAMcast thing. Tom has boots in the dirt. He's out there scrounging for a segment as opposed to having his feet in the sand kicked up, lazing around like he normally does.
And again next week, I think he's going to have his feet in the sand. Yep. He's at the John Marshall University boys basketball game down at the field house at John Marshall. If you've never caught a game down there, Zach, you got to go. The field house, great place to see.
I love the field house. I've seen a ton of games there. I know, dating me a little bit back when I was in my Donahue days, I think there was some regional play that happened there. Bishop Donahue played, and then Central played, and I think Magnolia. There were a few couple games
great
there
games.
in a row.
Yeah, it was a packed house, more than a packed house. I think fire codes were broke that night.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was loaded. Like, we could barely find a place to sit. We found one of our parents was leaving, and they're like, "Hey, take our seats." So we hung out there for a little bit. I look forward to an even nerdier time when I also coach our robotics team at Sherrard. We're going to end up having a robotics tournament at the field house.
You think it's going to be as packed, Zach?
I don't think it's going to be quite as packed, but we do have a ton of teams registered for it, which is kind of fun to think about. It's going to be kind of an odd use for the field house that it may not have had before, which I thought was kind of fun.
They've had wrestling down there. They've had monster trucks or something was in there that made a mark on the floor one time.
All I know is the WVSSAC is looking to govern some robotics competitions in the future too, so might be something I can throw out here every once in a while, maybe.
Hopefully I can throw out some rules to them, like seasons and coaching out a season and everything else.
Listen, I would love for you to come down to one of our robotics matches and score some stuff. I could see you throwing discs out of the arena going, "That doesn't count." It would be fantastic. It would be
I think I'd have a good time.
Oh, I think you would.
Hey, Zach, maybe some of your robotics teams, they need a little extra energy,
that's a
little extra strength.
That's nice.
How about going to Ohio Valley Nutrition, getting some cinnamon cereal crunch? If you hear that, that's the scoop in there. This one's empty. It might have a half a shake left. And then my peanut butter cup Wade is almost empty too. So the Christmas gift ideas that were brought to the OV Athletics Streamcast really didn't hit home with a lot of people. But I tell you what, Christmas gift I did get, Zach. If you look at my new piece of attire, this is the OV Athletics official tie of the Streamcast. Again, thank you to Ashley and Cannon for another great gift. I didn't think they could one up the mug and the polo and everything else and the Christmas tree ornament, but the tie, great look. So
I'm going to make a deep cut here. Are you a fan of Mel Brooks and his movies?
Yes.
So in Mel Brooks and Spaceballs, and they're talking when they go to see Yogurt, he's talking about merchandising, the most important things. Next thing I'm going to imagine seeing you with like an OVA flamethrower, like that with Spaceballs.
I'll have everything. I don't know. By the time Ashley and Cannon are done, I'm going to have everything OVA.
You have bed sheets.
Yeah, I'll have everything.
Steering wheel cover. I mean, it's good stuff.
Oh,
it's fantastic.
Definitely.
But thank you again to our sponsor. Thank you so much.
Ohio Valley Nutrition's been really good to us. We really appreciate it.
And that OVA code for 20% off.
Yeah, you just go there. You say OVA, OV Athletics. They're going to give you 20% off. That's not going to last too much longer. They told us it's ending soon.
Yeah, limited time offer. Go see them.
Yeah.
Hey, it's got limited time, just like the generic cinnamon cereal crunch has right here.
All right. Hey, it's a new year, Zach.
It's a new year.
It is. We're back, 2023. But the seasons are continuing. We have wrestling, we have basketball, we have swimming, we have bowling.
Yeah, and our last episode was kind of on the lighter side, just because we didn't have as much content to talk about, with a little bit of fewer games, wrapping down for the season. But we're back in full swing. Yeah. I think there was a bevy of choices for us to pick things to talk about.
So much action. They have that break during Christmas, and they come back. And then when you come back, you just have game after game. As we'll see, there's a team that had back-to-back games already. Not even canceled. They had back-to-back.
And I feel like that's a really tough time to be a coach when you're coaching one of those basketball teams, one of those swimming teams, or somebody that's getting back in the swing of things, because they've just been off for so long. They've just had a bunch of food. They got a bunch of candy, a bunch of gifts, hanging around, goofing off. I know when I was at Lindsley, the one year that I swam, Coach Brubaker tried to have 2-a-day practices the entire time we were off on break. I told him, I said, "You can cut me. I'll be coming to one of these, maybe every other day."
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Hey, let's get into some action, Zach.
Absolutely.
How's that? The last week, just all kind of basketball action. We're going to start on the boys' side this week.
All right, start on boys.
How about Frontier upended Bellsville 57-38? But you got to remember about the Bellsville team.
Oh, that's
co-ed.
Right. Yeah.
Co-ed. So there's boys and girls on the team, a couple girls. They didn't have enough to form the team, and they came out and said, "We're Blue Devils. We're going to play for Bellsville."
I love that.
Well, how about you listen to this? The leading scorers for the Blue Devils, Chance Allen had 15.
Okay.
Kaylee Hagan had 9.
Oh, that's awesome.
So one of the leading scorers, one of those lady players came over and just said, hey, we can play with the boys too. It doesn't matter, who it is. We're going to play basketball.
There's some times in our time at Sherrard that the girls would probably beat the boys if they played head up. They'd
be close. They'd be close. Yeah. Frontier's got a pretty good team this year. As I drive by Frontier High School all the time on my way to Charleston or other places, when you go down Route 7, you always see those Cougars out there.
Always.
Avery Powell, 18 points.
Oh, wow.
You're getting into the teams. Lucas Cox and Tice Curtis each had 12. So, as an opposing coach, you're looking at them and you're like, who do we stop? You have 3 scores, double figures. But great game for Frontier. But again, remember Bellsville has some wins on the season. And it's great to see them come together, the coaching staff and the players.
The community aspect there.
Yeah, you got to love that story.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like, just seeing how they came together and sort of went through, not necessarily adversity, but how they sort of came together and said, hey, you know what, we're going to be a team together and we're going to play together. And when you see the second leading scorer is one of the Lady Devils, that's fantastic to see happening.
I've been around basketball for a long time. That's a very unique situation. And just for everybody to come out and support them, that I think that's great.
It's
for
awesome.
The community of Bellsville. And just, if you ever get a chance, go out to Bellsville, watch a game, go support them. That's a team in the Valley doing something that I don't believe any team that has done recently in the Valley.
I mean, hey, they're losing out on overhead, not having twice the admissions. We got to pack twice the people out in Bellsville.
You got to get twice as many out there.
We got to get twice as many out there, so go support the Blue Devils. Go see them play.
Definitely. How about moving on? A team that we talked about earlier in the season, Zach, Martins Ferry. They're young, but they're good. They moved to 9-0 on the season.
Wow.
Okay,
Anytime you see an O is great.
They beat Harrison Central. They beat the Huskies 49-36. Their leading scorer, just a sophomore, Alex Reese, we talked about him before. He chipped in 18. Now we've talked about Denali Jackson.
Yep.
He had 14 for the Purple Riders. So it sounded like Harrison Central maybe had a little defensive plan maybe for Denali.
Yep.
But then you had Alex Reese come in scoring 18. Pick your poison there.
I mean, we've said it a lot before. When you have those guys that are big scorers, if you can shut them down and somebody else beats you, you kind of just tip your cap to them and say, you know what? We tried. We did what we could to shut down their leading scorer, and then somebody else comes through in the paint, and it's just hard to beat.
Yeah, and then, then Harrison Central comes out. Hayden Cassidy was the leading scorer for all teams. He had 19. Mm-hmm. So, when you get a kid scoring, over half your points, at some point a defensive effort was made against him, and he was still putting the ball in the basket. So, great game for Hayden Cassidy. Again, Martins Ferry moves to 9-0 on the season, continuing that undefeated streak. Always good. You're getting into the second half of the season now, Zach. You're approaching that second half of the season where you got to start putting things together, getting ready for tournament time.
You got to start thinking about that little push there, because I think it's like everybody. It's even more loosey-goosey than football is with who gets in. Right?
Everybody's in.
Okay, everybody's in. So
everybody's in.
So you want to get some momentum going. So it's not get some momentum, get some seeding on your side.
Yeah, the seeds really help. You get a favorable matchup, and that first just playoff basketball, playoff any sports is just a little different.
Sure.
It just feels different, because you have that win or go home type of thing.
Oh yeah.
And in Ohio, it's win or go home.
Oh, it's
West Virginia, sometimes you get that second chance depending your section, region, what they're doing.
Yeah, you might have a chance to sneak back in or something.
But Ohio, you're done.
I mean, there's too many teams in Ohio for it to be really any other way.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is an unfortunate nature of the beast, but it is what it is.
How about going down to River High School? Pilots.
We love going down to Hannibal, don't we?
Okay, so now here's that Frontier team again. Okay, so we talked about Frontier. Here they come again. Another game that week. River victorious in this one, 57-37. Ty Long for River led all scores with 21. That's a good game, Zach.
That's a really good game. Yeah.
Brody Laughlin had 14, and River Thompson for River had 11. Okay. So River had 11.
And Brody's one of those probably three sport athletes, if I had to assume.
Yeah.
If he's involved in 2 sports, it makes sense that he's probably in a third one.
Yeah, definitely.
But we've talked about him for 2 seasons so far this season.
Yeah.
So not surprised to see Brody's name up there with what great production he had during football. I'm sure it carries over.
And here we go. Talking about Frontier again. Avery Powell, 12. Tice Curtis had 9 for the Cougars. So those names coming up again. They're leading scorers, leaders of the team. This is the game I told you we had a team that played back-to-back. The Frontier Cougars played back-to-back. So they played Bellsville, come back and play River, who's a very good basketball team. So you come in, play back-to-back. That's tough on your legs. And,
absolutely.
Towards the end of the game, you start getting tired, wore down a little bit.
Yeah, and so we moved from River. We head down to Monroe Central. So Monroe Central beat Buckeye Local 70-29. The Seminoles were led by sophomore Tucker Howell with 23 points.
Wow, a sophomore chipping in 23.
Man.
You know, the future's bright down there in Seminole country.
I'm not sure I could play 7 games and have 23.
I'm not sure if I could play 23 games and get 20. I do know how to have 23 fouls, though.
Oh, I would definitely have that
I know that.
I would definitely have that many. I think in my time playing in our Wheeling Middle faculty game, I think I was like 3 for 27 from the floor, so pretty great.
Yeah. Not bad. Not bad. Hey,
I'm always more of a hockey guy.
Speaking of scorers, how about Logan Brown for the Seminoles had 16. So again, you know, when you're scoring in the teens and the 20s with a couple different players, you know, that's going to be hard to stop.
Right.
It's going to be hard to stop.
In Buckeye Local, it seems like they're always kind of taking a little bit on the chin every here and then, especially in football and basketball.
Yeah.
Just sort of need to get the ship righted, see what they can get going and get moving with some of their programs.
I think you can, you know, if you look at their leading scorer, Braden Walker, chipped in 9 points. If they could just get a couple more to go along with that, maybe a couple more stops on defense, a couple more rebounds. You know, in basketball, you know, little things. When I coached basketball, I was told the girl, little things. And, you know, 1 basket a quarter makes a huge difference. You know?
I know for a long time they had a hard time securing a football coach to hang out for or to stay for more than a few years. I'm not sure what it looks like on the court side.
Basketball sometimes has
whenever you see a little bit of that,
a lot of turnaround.
Whenever you see a lot of that turnover, it's kind of hard for those teams to sort of get that streak going. So hopefully Buckeye Local's coaching staff can stick together and sort of continue to
I think so. If
they
get some consistency in the coaching staff, then you'll get consistency in the players.
Yeah, and I mean, in Ohio is so hard because of the whole open enrollment thing where they can just bounce around wherever they want. I mean, it's hard. So unless you get somebody in there that's going to have a little bit of not necessarily name recognition, but somebody that's going to bring in some people with them and see what they can do.
Yeah,
it's always interesting. I'm always interested to see how that Ohio dynamic, especially in the Buckeye Local.
Yeah,
where a couple of those other schools are within shooting range of them travel distance wise. It's always interesting to see how that works. I think it could be done.
I think you get that consistency, you get the right person.
They've got great facilities.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. How about next, Zach? Steubenville Central Catholic over Bridgeport, 54-27. Now I remember a couple weeks ago. You said Steubenville Central Catholic's going to win some basketball games.
I just had this gut feeling about it.
They're going to get some more victories. Well, they picked up their 3rd of the season over Bridgeport. You know, so and again, Zach, you know, you say you just had a feeling they were going to get some victories. I just had this gut
feeling about them. Steubenville Central Catholic is one of those teams that every year in, year out, they may not be that team that's beating everybody by 30. They may not be that team that's getting beat by 30 every year, but they're always going to have that sort of. Not necessarily middle of the road, but they're always feisty. They're always in the battle, it seems like. And they feel that way in football. They feel that way in basketball to me. They're that team that's going to surprise some people. And I just had this gut feeling about them that it was coming.
How about some names that we've already talked about this season? Andrew Dorsey, 14. Benji Rook had 12. We talked about them both earlier this season. And they're leading that Steubenville Central Catholic team.
Great to see.
You know, great game. Good job out to Steubenville Catholic. On Bridgeport's end, hey, you want to go see a basketball player? Go watch Bridgeport. Colin Jackson chipped in 18 of the 27 for the Bulldogs.
Well, I felt like we were eventually going to see Bridgeport and talk about them a little bit too. Because when we talked about them in the football season, we talked about how they strung some wins together. They got into the regional playoffs, and they were and they had a tough slate moving into the playoffs. But whenever you see a team that's starting to make that playoff push in football, you see it, like we said, it sort of matriculates into those other sports. And basketball definitely is one of those because they had some receivers that were pretty decent that I'm sure are playing hoops now.
Definitely. Hey, next we're going to J.R. Batista's Belair Big Reds. They upend Shadyside 72-65. Big rivalry. It doesn't matter what they're playing. Okay, they could be in a robotics tournament, Zach.
Hey,
they're going to hate each other.
I love it.
They're
Football,
basketball, track and field. It doesn't matter what they're doing.
They're spitting distance down Route 7 at each other, and they're not over it.
It's a rivalry.
It's Tiger Pub versus Gula's.
It's a fight, Zach. It's a fight to the end.
Yeah.
Hey, Shadyside not having a great season this year. But fought Belair, an undefeated Belair. They keep their undefeated streak going.
Good for them.
They put up a great fight in this one. At one time, they were down 17. Okay, came back to get the game within 3 in the 3rd quarter. Fighting back. But just sometimes you use so much energy. Just fighting back, and you get a little tired on defense. You might make a mistake here. Your jump shots aren't falling. But good job to Shadyside. Hey. Put up a good fight, but JR had the team ready for this one. The big Reds, led by Mason Socher with 23. Mac. I didn't even put Pettigrew in here.
We're a big fan of the Pettigrews.
Yeah. He chips in 19. Jacob Dowling hit 13. He had 3 threes in the third quarter. You know how we talk about the 3-point shots? Everybody likes to shoot them.
Everybody loves them.
You're hitting 3 in the third quarter. You know, close games become not so close games when you're hitting 3-pointers like that.
And especially when you see that happen, it's like it allows other people to free up that offense. And you're so afraid to come up and try to play him to prevent him from getting that shot off clean that it can open out some of the underneath stuff too.
It almost leaves the zone defense. You're playing man to man, and then you know some athletes that Belair has. They'll cut right on you.
I mean, we all know it's
going to be
when
layups.
You're shooting from the perimeter like that. Somebody's going to come up to have to press him a little bit. Then you can throw the ball down low, maybe get a pick on somebody and get a layup moving in.
Get an easy layup, definitely. Good job, Belair, staying undefeated. Great fight for Shady Side in that one.
Good job me sneaking in some basketball terms there.
Good job. You did pretty good, Zach. We're teaching you a little
I'm
something.
going to get a little basketball for dummies dictionary. I'm just going to start pulling words out of it, I think.
Yeah, you can find a couple. I don't know. You pulled out a couple good ones already.
I got a good one,
Definitely.
I'm just going to start sneaking in hockey terms when I'm talking about basketball and see if anybody notices.
When you say on the ice, or he shot the puck, I think everybody's going to realize what happened.
When he gets down in the crease, that's going to be obvious.
Yeah, definitely. He offsides.
Offsides? What?
No, we're football, hockey,
hooking,
what we're doing. Yeah.
I wish I only got 2 minutes for hooking.
Oh, I don't know if it take you 2 minutes, Zach. Moving on. Got a little update from this game from Coach Eckleberry. Gave me a little update on the Union Local John Marshall. So Union Local upends the Monarchs 58-45 in boys action. Talk about the 3-pointers. Beezer Porter hit 5 3-pointers for Union Local. Led the scoring with 19 points.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Okay.
That'll do it.
Carter Blake, do you remember that name? Carter Blake from UL. Remember that one from the football team?
I do.
Coach Eckleberry said he was throwing down some dunks.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, they got him with a nice, I think he posted one on Instagram or something that he had, that threw a nice alley-oop to him, and he dunked it down with 2 hands, and I think he had another one. He came through the lane and put it down. And Coach Eckleberry said that kid he's huge.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even have words.
Yeah.
Just if you're dunking like that in high school, it's just not fair.
And
it's just not.
6'3", 195 pounds. So
it's like when TJ will eventually start playing on his little Tykes rim with you, and if you're not swatting the ball away, you're not teaching him any lessons.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Same things happen when you got somebody that's a grown man 2-hand dunking.
I can't wait to pitch to him. I'm high and tight. He better not crowd that plate.
Oh yeah, he better.
He's going to get plunked.
Better not. He better get plunked. Yeah, he's got to learn.
Brennan Sabuka led the Monarchs with 19. Brennan, a great kid.
Yep.
You know, had both him and his brother at Sherrard. You know, doesn't surprise me. Leading the team with 19. You know, they just couldn't pull down some rebounds they needed. You know, and Union Local hit those. Hit
and they
some
just got
3-pointers.
a little bit away from him. I mean, that's still not a beat down by any stretch of the imagination.
Like I said, little things. Score one more bucket a quarter, give up one less bucket a quarter, and now you know that's 16 points. You know that's a huge difference in a game. You know, that makes a difference in a game. So you kind of break it down for the kids and just say, hey, we're getting closer. Moving on. Here we go. Another good game here in the Valley. Weirton 63 over Indian Creek 53.
Oh yeah,
you know, so nice close game. Colin Cross led Weirton with 17. DeMar Turner and Corey Lyons each added 15. So again, we look at these teams that are winning these basketball games. It's kids scoring not 40 points, but you're scoring 15, 17, 12, but you have 3 or 4 of them.
You're seeing a lot of strong competitors.
Yeah, definitely.
And those strong competitors are playing together as a team, which is what's really important.
Yeah.
And in basketball especially, you can really see that where the ball gets distributed around. And those teams that win consistently, it seems like, that you and I are talking about, are those ones that have 3, 4 contributors on each team, not just one superstar.
Yeah, definitely. The Redskins, you know, Indian Creek Redskins led by Logan Schaefer with 11, and Caleb Boda had 10. So, you know, again, you see those kids scoring double-digit figures. They just need probably one more score, get a couple stops on defense, and that's a different
I'm happy
game.
you called them the Redskins. I was ready to be a smart aleck and call them the Indian Creek Commanders.
I don't think that's ever going to happen, Zach. They just built a brand new football stadium up there and have Redskins all over it.
I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
The joke was right there.
I don't think they're going to do that.
No, I don't think they'll do that either.
How about, talking about Redskins, we're going to move on to Caldwell, beating Barnesville 68-59. Betty Lori led the Redskins with 33 points. So now we're talking about a 33-point score, 12 for 12 free throws.
Man, wow, 12 for 12. That's awesome.
Don't put him on the line. How about that?
You just can't. Just don't foul the guy.
Yeah,
just don't foul him.
Don't foul him.
Don't
Let
foul
him have the bucket.
Yeah.
12 for 12 from free throws. Let's not foul that kid.
Nope.
Okay.
Don't give him a chance. To me, he's that classic guy. One of my friends at Wheeling Middle always used to say when he was in high school, his pops would always make him go outside and just shoot free throws all the time. Just free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw. To me, that's one of those kids probably has a hoop behind his house and he goes out and literally shoots the free throw every day. Yeah. He used to say he'd shoot 5 one hand, 5 another hand, and he'd just keep going back and forth and keep going. To me, that screams that sort of dedication. When you see somebody with perfection from the line, they got to rep it a million times.
12 for 12, great effort from the line. But to beat Barnesville, you're going to have another scorer. They did. They had Tice Devilled had 16 for Caldwell. Shamrocks led by Asa Galinger, 26, and we talked about him before. Mm-hmm. And Tayson Starr chipped in 10
Tayson
points.
Starr,
coming over from the football team, putting in a couple buckets for the basketball team. So, hey,
Tayson Starr's one of your boys.
Another great game in the Valley. Yeah. If you're looking for some good entertainment, Zach, getting these games out at $6, $7, $8, whatever they are.
For sure. Worth the
great
cost of
entertainment.
admission.
Great concessions at these places. Great environments. I as I look at these schools, I coached basketball for a while at John Marshall and at Sherrard, and just going and watching games. I look at these schools and I'm like, I've been in that gym. It's a great place to go. I've been in that gym. I said that about the football stadiums too. It just, I don't know. Maybe it's just something about the Valley that you go in these gyms and they just create great atmospheres for all different sporting events.
While the bleachers may not be the best, because I'm a large man, so the bleachers, aren't always my friend. Yeah. But there's some great great courts to go take a look at.
Oh, just great environments.
And just really cool environments. And one of the great environments that you and I were just talking about before we went live on the STREAMcast, we go to Wheeling Park.
Oh, Wheeling Park. They beat Steubenville. They went up to the Crimson Center up there in Steubenville.
Okay.
I'm throwing it out there.
Steubenville,
up in Steubenville. I've coached there a couple times. I got to see that game up there. It was on TV. I've coached there. You just watch games there. It's another nice place to watch basketball.
Gorgeous.
Great school up there. Wheeling Park gets a big victory over Steubenville, 68-44. Wheeling Park continues to be undefeated. They're 7-0 on the season with that victory. Yep. Free throws. Mm-hmm. We just talked about free throws. Wheeling Park as a team was 18 for 22. It always helps.
It does. It really does.
You're 18 for 22, and I know, Coach Jebbia, and he used to do this thing. I don't know if he still does it. They have all different kind of free throw games. They have like a tournament.
Oh, cool.
I was actually coaching the girls team up there, and I saw their bracket. They had like a little bracket set up.
Oh, that's awesome.
The kids played each other in this free throw competition.
Oh, that's cool.
And I don't know if Coach Jebbia, I have to get him on and ask him if he still does that kind of stuff.
That'd be cool.
But it wouldn't surprise me if they do some kind of competition. We used to do that with the free throws, just to get them involved and just to get them to know how important they are.
Well, that's awesome.
But it was always neat to go up there and see that.
I've seen a couple fundraisers before. I know a couple of the middle schools that I was at every once in a while would do like a fundraiser for how many free throws they get in a row.
We would do a free throw-a-thon.
Yeah, the free throw-a-thon.
Yeah, it's like a walk-a-thon, but with free throws.
However many you make.
Love them.
I've seen that in basketball with free throws. I've seen it in volleyball with serves over the net before too.
Just a lot of great things.
You got to do that with 6th grade. The 7th or 8th graders that Sherrard would bankrupt some people.
Oh yeah, even if it was a nickel.
They bankrupt some people. You only do that with 6th graders. Sherrard.
We've talked about the girls at Park and their pressure defense. What about the boys at Park and their pressure defense?
Gracious, yeah.
Whether it's the full court pressure or half court pressure, they're pressuring the basketball.
And they've got the dudes for it. They've got athletes top to bottom on this team.
Yeah, definitely.
And like you and I were talking, I was like, I think this is an absolutely loaded Park basketball team. And you're saying there might even be some more teams that are just as loaded in the state of West Virginia
really
as they
good.
are, which is
really
crazy.
Good. Yeah, really good.
It's so hard for me to imagine because I saw all these kids play in middle school. I saw them play football. I saw them play basketball.
Yeah.
And to imagine that this roster of kids that they have on Wheeling Park boys, there's somebody that could dance with them somewhere around the state is just crazy to me.
How about, we're going to go over the scores for the game, but as we look at these kids and we know them, I think I want to talk about their defense a little bit. So we'll start with Brett Phillips, led the game, 21 points, 7 for 7 free throws.
Man, Brett Phillips in Wheeling Park, where have we said that before?
Yeah. Aiden Davis had 17.
Yep.
If you haven't seen him play, go watch him play.
Yep.
Michael Davis had 13.
my boy. Way to go, Michael.
Just even scoring. Now, we know the kid. Imagine those kids on defense. Yeah, we know they can score the basketball, but those kids on defense, wow. And then you add Stevens.
Yep.
Keon Stevens in there, and just just a great defensive effort too.
They've got a bunch of good kids on that team too, and Brett Phillips being able to play defense in basketball. Not allowed to be
he's
out
not
there
gonna
on
be out there on
football.
football.
Not allowed to be on there football. But
Yeah.
he's one of those guys that just has that nonstop hustle and that nonstop motor. And these guys are definitely committing just as much to defense as they are to offense, which you love to see. I'm sure Coach Jebb's super excited for that.
Definitely. Now, Steubenville was without the services of Peyton Hill, but
great athlete.
Park was out without Cole Wilkinson was out of the game. So I think he has a foot or ankle or some type.
I think he has 2 feet and 2 ankles.
He's coming back an injury. I know he has 2. They're both not injured, but I believe he's coming back. He was at the game the other night, but I believe he's coming back soon. So Peyton Hill I know is coming back. Cole Wilkinson, let's get get him healthy for that stretch run and see what Park can do.
I'd love to see Park make a deep run. It would be awesome.
I think they can make a run this year.
It would be awesome.
I think Keith Lewis led the Big Red with 13 points and 5 assists. But without Peyton Hill, they were against it from the beginning. How about next? And
the battle that I miss so much in football. I miss it so much. It was like my favorite in football.
Do you know Jason Wade?
I do. I do know Jason.
He just posted something on Facebook. Ooh. It was today or yesterday, and it was a whole thing about the rivalry. And Jason, Lindsley guy, and kid goes to Lindsley. I got to know Jason a little bit too with some dealings with his travel football team. I think he's still looking for a couple players for the High Valley Rise. If you're listening out there and you want to play some 7-on-7 football with some good coaching, get a hold of the High Valley Rise. Get a hold of Coach Wade there, and awesome. They're still looking for some. I think 18U kids.
So this game was like. In football was our Super Bowl, and this was like our national championship in March Madness. This was the game that we always got hyped for. I attended maybe a dozen basketball games in high school.
Okay.
Maybe 10 of those were probably these games.
The Lindsley Central
games.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I went to Lindsley for 8 years, so I mean, a dozen over 8 years.
A lot of people go to school for 8 years, Zach. They call them doctors.
Well, yeah, but Lindsley was 4 years middle, 4 years high school. All right. So what I'm saying, over those 8 years, I went to probably about a dozen basketball games. 10 of them were probably this game. I mean, just crazy atmosphere, fired up. There was one time kids were shoving each other. Parents started fighting in the stands. Yeah. I mean, just bedlam. Just bedlam.
And that's what Jason said in his post. He said just the atmosphere itself, just the energy that the gym had.
He used to be able to cut it with a knife.
Would be great. He gave some great statistics out there. This isn't a football segment, but he gave some great segments. I think the overall series, I think Lindsley only has 3 more wins than Central in the overall series.
It's a lot tighter than you think.
So it's a lot tighter than you think. So I'm not asking either school to step up and play that football game, but I do know we had a good basketball game.
Heck yeah.
How about this one? Lindsley, 4 bonus balls, 4 3-pointers in the second quarter alone. Again, we talk about those 3-pointers, and you're hitting 4 of them. And, those 3-pointers, it's almost like what a dunk used to be in a game.
Yep.
You get that big dunk, you get the momentum. Now it's boom, a 3-pointer.
A nice 3-pointer is that dagger that demoralizes somebody when it used to be that massive dunk. Yeah, absolutely.
And how about, we talk about shooting all the time. Lindsley shot just over 50% field goals for the game. Central was just over 37%. I mean, just over 37% from the game. So that makes a big difference. Yep. Shooting 50% of the field, Lindsley was shooting the ball really well that game. Balanced scoring again. Yep. Here we come. Gavin Jackson, 15 for Lindsley. Will Taylor had 12. DeRay Goodwin had 9 points, but 10 boards. I know you got the guys with the rebounds. Yeah. So DeRay had 10 boards. Jonah Vaseback had 8. Carter Anderson had 7 points, 8 rebounds. Nathan Coleman had 6 points and 8 rebounds.
When you see a lot of people with over a handful of rebounds, it shows that it was a tough physical game and that people were going to have to go up and get after it. Which is
that's
awesome.
So Lindsley outshoots Central 50-37. They out rebound them 36-26. Those 2 stats you can look at. I mean,
this game was always feisty. Like I said, the one game where there was pushing and shoving after, and then it turned into an all-out brawl. A brawl at Lindsley's Fieldhouse. It was like I said, it was madness. This game is always like this. It's always physical. It always feels like it's a tight game, regardless of what the actual score is.
Yeah.
Or what each team's going into it. You pretty much just got to throw these records out with the bathwater when these 2 teams play each other, because it's literally like they're 0-0 and they only want to go 1-0 against the other team.
How about some Knights leading scorers here? We had Quentin Berlinski had 18 and 7 rebounds. Max Olajays had 10 points and 6 rebounds. Jeremy Ratcliffe added 9. Dad Mike is probably pretty happy. Put in 9 points. So, again, great battle. 2 private Ohio County schools.
It's
they
the
play
best.
on the hardwood.
It's the best.
Maybe someday we'll get the football game
I would love
back.
to see the football game back.
Yeah.
The football game was my favorite.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a story I can't really tell on air about what happened when I went my very first one as a 5th grader. Can't really tell that story because somebody not necessarily streaked, but there was an inflatable costume involved.
Okay, all right.
That I don't know if it's necessarily appropriate for the STREAMcast.
For the STREAMcast.
But
All right,
if
well-
you can imagine an inflatable costume that is inappropriate for somebody to be running across a field on a football team.
Sometimes anybody and anything's inappropriate, but we'll see.
Hey, I'll let our viewers, all 5 of them, think about what that could possibly be.
Hey, we've talked about them already. Let's talk about Bellsville again. They get a victory.
Let's go Blue
over
Devils.
Newcomerstown, 45-30. Hey, Chance Allen's back at it. He poured in 23 points. But look who's also back in the scoring column. Kaylee Hagan had 9 again.
9 again.
So look at this for the Blue Devils. They're getting contributions from everybody on the team. That's great to see. Congratulations, Blue Devils, getting a big victory there
awesome.
over Newcomerstown.
It's really awesome.
Yeah, we have to mention that again. That's a great story.
Oh, it's
great,
so
great
cool.
story.
It's so cool.
Yeah. How about moving over to the girls' side of things?
side.
So now we're going to the girls' side. Union Local over Cambridge, 57-10. Not much we can say. I mean, good defense there by Union Local. Reagan Vincevich, we've talked about her, had 22.
It's almost unheard of when you see a team keep another team to 10.
To 10 in high school.
In high school.
Yeah, in high
like
school.
in basketball, or like in middle school, whatever.
Yeah.
Some random
10, you might win games.
Yeah, 10, you might win a couple.
Yeah.
But I saw this and I was like, did he type this in wrong? And then he said that. I was like, oh, no, he didn't. Ooh.
Yeah, so, Union Local's really rolling. They stay undefeated. Vincevich leads with 22. Lauren Miller had 13. So defense key in this one.
Oh, absolutely.
57-10 over the Cambridge Bobcats. Next, hey, how about we talked about on the boys' side? Let's go to the girls' side of Belair over Buckeye Local, 62-48.
Yep.
Listen to this. Zara Harveth, Big Reds. She pours in 27.
27
That's a
points.
great game. That's a great
fantastic.
game.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But not their only score. Elena Mason and Allie Alt each had 12.
Yeah.
So, you're getting a whole bunch of scoring from 3 different players.
I mean,
just tough for defense.
3 different players contributing almost 50 points is pretty good.
That's definitely
actually almost over 50.
Over, yeah.
Yeah, over 50.
The Panthers, led by Bryn McKeever and Pam Kendrick, they each had 18. So even the Panthers had girls that are putting the ball in the basket.
When I see that stat line, it probably indicates it was probably a little bit of a tighter game than the scoring probably indicated. Again, I don't know everything that happened in this game, but when I see that point contribution, probably at one point somebody went on a run and maybe pulled away a little bit.
Definitely.
But it was probably close for a couple quarters at least.
Yeah. How about moving on to Harrison Central? The Huskies beat the Edison Wildcats 69-33.
Nice.
The Huskies had some big scorers. Again, Danica Renzi and Angie Ferry had 16 each for the Huskies.
Okay.
Emma Fisher 13 and Mackenzie Harbold 10 each had 10 for the Wildcats. So another game, defense key. You're holding teams in the 30s. That's where you want to be. Girls high school basketball. I've coached it long enough to know. 30s, you hold a team 30s, you're doing pretty good. 40s, maybe doing good. You start getting the 50s and 60s and have to score that much, you may be in trouble.
It's a little bit, it's a little tough.
It's a little bit more difficult. Okay, how about going over? Hey, Wheeling Central girls, we talk about the 3-pointers.
There it is.
They get the victory over Steubenville Catholic, 68-50. How about this, Zach? I'm glad you're sitting down. Wheeling Central girls, 17 3-pointers in the game.
Ooh. Wow.
17 3-pointers in the game. So just shooting.
That's
called shooting the lights out. It was probably pretty dark in that gym after they were done.
There's sometimes where TJ just does this random thing where he just goes, wow, whoa. That's how I
think
feel.
I just heard him.
That's what I feel like right now here in that stat line. Goodness
17
gracious. Wow.
3-pointers. As we talked about, if 3 and a quarter is momentum builders, you hit 17 in a game, it's just like you can't catch up. So no zone defense for the Central Catholic Crusaders.
Hard to get in a shootout when somebody else is doing 17.
I can't. How about this, Zach? Brooke Edge, she had 7 of those 3-pointers. 24 points, 7 3-pointers. Lily Valgren, 6 3-pointers. All 18 points of hers were 3-pointers. Valerie Downing had 3 3-pointers. And Addie Payton had it, the last one. So all those girls shooting the 3-pointers. But then you had Kira Wilkinson scored 11, didn't hit a 3-pointer.
Goodness gracious.
So again, it looks like Central at 5-1 might have a little thing going.
Might have a little bit of a run going.
Yeah, a little bit of a run there for Wheeling Central. For the Central Catholic Crusaders, you had Ellen Rode and Teresa Kirker. Each had 17 points.
Which is nothing to sneeze at.
No, nothing at all.
Yeah.
I think that's enough to keep you in most games.
And game where somebody's not hitting 17 threes in your face. That's kind of hard to do.
That's hard for a coach, 17 threes. You won't see that every night.
And that's one of those games that's really frustrating as a coach, especially for Steubenville Catholic, because you could have coached a perfect game.
Yeah.
You could have. But if somebody's shooting that well from the perimeter, I mean, you kind of throw the scheme out. You're trying to scramble quickly. It's one of those things where your defense can't do anything because people are just throwing up so many points in your face.
Yeah.
So as a coach, it's probably pretty frustrating.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Moving on, how about another rivalry here? We have Martins Ferry over St. Clairsville in girls action, 50-43. This game, of course, the end score was close.
Right.
But the score was close in the fourth quarter. It was tied with just under 3 minutes to go.
Oh, wow.
So tied under 3 minutes to go. Lindsay Seiden hit a bucket to put Martins Ferry up for good. So she hit a basket. Martins Ferry led for good, just had to make some free throws down the end.
Yep.
Megan Malin led the Red Devils with 18. Caitlin Gray for the Red Devils, 9 points, 9 rebounds.
Right.
So, that gets some a little bit even scoring there. A young Martins Ferry team, sophomore Lindsay Best had 13. Freshman Charlie Rowe had 9 points, 9 rebounds, and Daniel Lude had 8 points and 5 rebounds.
That's one of those games. It's like the Lindsley Central game in boys. It's always tight.
Yeah.
They get fired up for that game. Tight rivalry. Great team. Both teams play really hard there, and it's fun when one of those games are kind of close.
Yeah.
When you go to see one of those games and you're not one of those ones with a rooting interest, if you're not like, hey, my kid's on the team, or I love this team, those are the ones that are really fun to be a spectator.
Yeah,
for,
definitely.
You see
just go and watch.
That little bit of that tight game at the end. It's always worth the cost of admission.
Oh, definitely. Going back to Lindsley.
Tough one.
Okay, they lose a tough one to Fort Fry, 35-30. And Zach, I said earlier, if you can hold a team in the 30s, you want to be doing pretty good. Right. This is one of those games. It was just a defensive battle. Lindsley was without their leading scorer. Miriam Martinez was out.
Yep.
So she went out, not right before the game day, but a couple days before the game. Mm-hmm. So Coach Rebecca Upton, she had to change the game plan up. They had a whole game plan set up. So they had to change the game plan up. Your leading scorer's out.
It's always tough.
She was really impressed with the way that her team responded and executed the game plan. They just a little short at the end.
Yep. And that's always tough when you see one of those things happen. As coaches, we've coached a lot, and we see how this sort of stuff happens. I mean, it's like losing a quarterback before a big game.
Yeah.
You got to sort of have to draw some stuff on the mud, up in the mud. Like I've had a chance where I had a quarterback that was fantastic that I lost literally the day before a playoff game and had to sort of come up with a quick offense that we can run in a day, which is hard to do. And it's kind of similar to what happened here. And just have that game be that close, because I've had situations like that where it turns into a blowout.
Yeah.
But to be able to keep that close speaks to the coaching staff and speaks to how well that team came together and sort of held each other together.
Definitely. Emmy Dusky for the cadets, she led everyone with 19. How about this? Lindsley's Halen Cook had 13, and Rosa Solberg had 11. Halen coming up with a big game there.
Good game, Halen. Coached with her dad, Hayden, at Wheeling Middle. He's been around all over the place.
Yeah.
Great family, great kid.
Yeah.
Great seeing her name on the score sheet there.
Yeah, definitely. Just, tough leading scorer. I think, a couple more practices with that game plan. If she's out for any length of time, I think his team will win some games even without their leading scorer. Yeah. Moving on to the different girls game here. Monroe Central over Shadyside. Shadyside's having a little rough season again on the boys and girls side. The Seminoles get the victory 65-50. The Seminoles, again, here's some even scoring throughout. Seminoles, Abby Thompson had 15. Haley Balmer and Riley Bettinger each had 13 for the Seminoles. Switch over to the Tigers. Gentry Brown had 23. Great game there. Yep. And Macy Hendershot, 14.
You had two decent scorers, but it's just one of those things that's hard. It's hard to pull out down the stretch when you have a bunch of people on the
little
other team
defense. I said when I said you get into the 60s and you have to score in the 60s, that's a lot of points to put in.
Absolutely.
Definitely. How about this one? The last girls action we're going to cover for today.
Last girls action.
JM over Brook. The Monarchs and the Bruins.
Awesome. Monarchs
48-40.
Okay, all right.
John Marshall, again, we talked about free throws already in the show. 20 of 28, John Marshall was. So good free throw shooting,
That's
okay?
Awesome.
Came down to the final minutes, and as you can tell, 48-40, not a bad score, but neither team shot really well from the floor. They got a lot of shots up. They didn't get a lot of shots in.
I was gonna say both were hovered right around 30% shooting, right?
Yeah, both. John Marshall was 14 of 61, and Brooke was 15 of 48. Just the ball wasn't going in the basket that day for either team.
No, not really. Other than on free throws for
other than free throws for John Marshall. It must have been something with that basket. Maybe it wasn't moving when they were shooting free throws or something.
Maybe.
Caitlin Blake again led John Marshall with a game high 18 points. Only 2 after intermission, so it sounds like Brooke maybe put a different defensive game plan out there. Made some adjustments. Only 2 points in the second half. But the Monarchs have some good younger players. How about Kaylee Darrow chipping in 13 with 9 boards? She fouled out a little early in the fourth quarter. Just because Coach Melko said she was playing hard.
Yeah.
And she was playing hard, fouls out.
Listen, you're never going to hear me complain about somebody fouling out. There was one time where my wife fouled out when she played basketball in high school, which if you've ever met Anna, she's 5'0", playing for Donahue. Yeah. But she thought her dad was going to be mad at her when she fouled out. And he came off the court and goes, "I'm so proud of you." Yeah. And that's kind of that mentality that I carry with me all the time. And carry with me all the time in basketball. Whenever I see somebody foul out, I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, definitely. How about Lily Babicek?
Oh, Babicek. She's physical. She is. She's physical.
8 points, 20 rebounds, 20 rebounds.
I had to wipe my
I'm going to
eyes
say it
when
again.
We saw this.
20 rebounds.
That's more than some players have in 3 games. Maybe 4.
That's more than some players probably have in a season.
Goodness gracious.
We know how.
Babicek.
What do we say?
She's about ready to say Babicek yourself or wreck yourself. Seriously.
What did we say a couple weeks ago? Gracious. You always take a Babicek on your team, right?
Yeah, you will.
Okay, you always take a Babicek.
Always.
You always take 20 rebounds.
Oh,
20.
God.
Great job. Great game, Lily.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Great game. So, for Brooke, Ava Bolin, again, we've talked about her this season. 16 points, 13 boards. A great game for her. How about this? End of the game, Brooke pulls within a couple points. You're going to foul. You're going to put 2 freshmen on the free throw line. So Riley Storm steps up. She makes 5 of 6. Mason Inkland makes 2 for 2. So you have freshmen coming in.
That's awesome.
That goes 7 for 8 down the game. Now I'm going to tell you, coaching both of these girls, I don't know how to put it better. Just no conscience. Yeah. Like, it's odd just to say it. Great kids, but they don't know that it was the first quarter, fourth quarter, third quarter, ninth quarter. It didn't matter to them. They were going to step to the free throw line and make the free throws. That's just what they do. They're competitors.
Right. Ice water in their veins, getting up there and shooting that at the end.
Both sides of their pillows are cool. It doesn't matter. Absolutely. It didn't matter for either one of them. And
that's awesome.
That's great. 7 for 8 down the stretch, and that's going to win you basketball games.
That's really impressive.
And as a coach on the other side, you're like, who do we foul?
Yeah.
Foul freshmen in that situation.
Foul the freshmen, and then the freshmen step up and are draining them.
And you don't have anything else to do. So great job to Riley and Mason both.
It's a winning move when you can make free throws like that.
Yeah.
You know what else is a winning move, Jeff?
What's that, Zach?
Going to Swan Sports Shop for all of your sports needs. What are they going to have for you at Swan Sports Shop, Jeff?
I just talked to Brad the other day.
Oh, there we go.
They're going to have T-shirts. They're going to have sweatpants. They're going to have shoes. They're going to have mitts. They're going to have basketballs and baseballs and whatever you need.
Whatever you need. They got
and
it
you
all.
go in there, and the most obscure thing you could think of, Brad's going to get it for you. I tell you what they do a great job of. We never mentioned this before.
Okay, never mentioned it before. STREAMcast exclusive.
How about this? Letterman's jackets. Ooh. You're going to get the best price on Letterman's jackets in the Valley.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you this, Zach.
That's awesome.
And you go in there, and they have anything you'd ever want. Stitching. I want 1 stitch red and 1 stitch white. I don't know what they're doing over there, but they will take care of any school in the Valley.
Wow, that's impressive.
Any school in the Valley. I know that I've even seen some kids from John Marshall. I've been over there shopping. I see some kids from John Marshall. I'm going to tell you what. That's the place to go in the Valley for a Letterman jacket. I'm going to tell you that right now.
For real, that's awesome.
Hey, but if you don't need a jacket because you want to be on vacation, Zach.
Maybe you need a life jacket.
You may.
You can get one from Swans, and then you can go see for
yourself and get a vacation scheduled. They're still doing the cruises. They're going to give you some drink cards for those cruises. It's going to be the dog days of winter coming up. And you want to get away for a couple days, a week, 10 days, 2 weeks.
Pull a Tom, sneak off.
Yeah.
Who cares about
every week?
Who cares about helping out the STREAMcast?
Yeah.
Just go to
Tom,
the beach.
Oh, he's not here. Yeah, he's at a game
Tom, what do you think
about
about See for Yourself?
Oh,
doesn't have
okay.
an opinion.
Yeah,
He doesn't have an opinion.
He'll be in the beach next week.
I'm sure, yeah.
Hey, so now you've taken care of everything else. It's the new year. You want to save a little bit of money. Go see Lori Grizel at Grizel State Farm. Any of your insurance needs, car, home, auto, but also banking needs.
Yep.
They have checking accounts, they have savings accounts, you can get loans, you can do anything. It's a bank.
It's all. You go see all of them.
Yeah, go see
Lori's going to take good care, and she's going to treat you like family.
Yeah, and don't forget, go to Steubenville, go to St. Clairsville, go see our friends at Ohio Valley Nutrition. Vitamins, protein, anything you need to get healthy this new year, they're going to help you out at Ohio Valley Nutrition.
Yep.
Go see them.
Go see him. All right, so I guess we'll jump back in here.
Yeah.
We'll jump on the mat this time.
Oh.
As we've got some wrestling action going on.
I like some wrestling action.
So we have a triangular meet. We've got Indian Creek, Martins Ferry, and Harrison Central.
Oh, my. So I like the triangular, Zach.
Oh, yeah.
You have everybody versus everybody. So
see, I always like the quad. I always like when you get a quad or a dual.
Quad or duals going, yeah.
Those are always my favorite. But triangulars are fun.
Yeah, the wrestling action's great action.
It really is. It really is. So we have Indian Creek over Martins Ferry, 51-20. And then over Harrison Central, 45-33. So Indian Creek wrestled really well.
Yeah, they did.
They wrestled very, very well.
Wrestled really well.
Martins Ferry then over Harrison, 48-28.
Yeah, so there's that triangular.
There it is.
How about some wrestlers for the Redskins?
Okay.
How about Brock Pendleton, Zach, at the 106? Okay. I don't think either one of us has been 106 since, kindergarten?
I mean, believe it or not, I was skinny till, middle school.
Okay, all right. So maybe
you're late middle school?
Okay, so maybe you were 106.
Maybe.
Hey, listen to this, Zach. He had pins of 15 seconds and 28 seconds. If you blinked, you missed it.
I don't know if I can buckle my belt in 15 seconds.
I'd still be getting that anklet on. I'd have been down. I'd been like, hey, wait a minute. I can get my anklet on. I don't know what. 15 into. Great job, Brock. How about this? Aiden Hendricks picks up 2 victories at 126. Gavin Pinal at 144 picks up 2 victories for the Redskins. CJ Spencer picks up 2 victories at 150. And Don Patera at 157. All these guys picked up 2 victories for the Redskins. So good job.
And you're going to see that's why we see what we see in that scoring that we see in the triangular here. And then let's see here.
How about Jace Mahoney at 113 for the Purple Riders? Now, what's the chances of this? Picked up 2 pins, both in 22 seconds.
That's wild.
Did he do that on purpose?
That's wild. I mean,
I'm gonna have to ask. We'll have to get a hold of him and ask.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. 22 seconds is fantastic. Yeah, that's crazy.
How about next? Dylan Ward picked up 2 victories at 120. Jonathan Rosano picked up 2 victories at 132. Johnny McFarland at 165 picked up 2 victories, and George Halsey at 175 all picked up 2 wins for the Purple Riders on the day.
Awesome, good work on the mat there, guys.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How about next?
Next we come to let's see, Leland Lopez at 138, Lucas Thomas 215. Landon Thomas, 285, who had 10 and 40-second pins. And all had 2 wins for the Huskies as well.
10 seconds.
I mean, when you have a triangular, it's hard to get those 2 wins.
Yeah.
And we have so many guys there that we listed had 2 wins. So that means 2 of their 3 matches that those guys all had victories, which is really hard to do in a triangular. Yeah. And especially in triangulars, they really wear you down. Yeah. They really do, because you're having so many wrestling. And it's not like in middle school where there aren't a bunch of full weight classes. Yeah. Most of these high schools are going to have full weight classes. So when you see that these guys are getting 2 wins, that's really hard to do in a triangular because you're going to have those matches.
Yeah, definitely. How about Wheeling Park over Barnesville? I'm going to leave you on a little cliffhanger.
Ooh, a little cliffhanger.
You got to go via OV Athletics to find out. To win the match, Park needed back-to-back pins. Oh. Not just victories, pins.
I'm getting goosebumps trying to figure out if they actually got it or not.
I'm not telling you.
I guess you're going to have to go see.
Go to OVathletics.com, check out a great article written on there, and you'll find out. You'll find out if they got some free pins.
With some excellent rating.
Speaking of pins, Zach.
Oh my gosh. That is Oscar-worthy transition right there.
How about we move to bowling?
That's such a win. It's such a win. That's a strike. It's a strike.
Almost, Zach.
I'm not sure if you spared any more puns for me.
No, that's a good one. I was trying to steal that one from you. I didn't even. That's right off the top of the head.
There we go.
How about we'll go to bowling? Girls, on the girls' side, Union Local with a 1583 over Wheeling Parkway at a 1352. How about Chloe Porter for the Jets? She had a 202 game and a 326 series.
Wow.
I don't know if you lock me in a bowling alley all day if I get a 326.
It's a heartbreaker for me because our babysitter that we use for TJ is bowling for the Wheeling Park girls. So I'm sad to see them with a loss. Sorry, Hannah. But I guess you just have to do better. I mean, I'll trash talk her on the stream. I don't have a problem.
Ask her what her series was and see if you know.
I might. Both Hannah and her sister are both.
They're both
bowling for Park.
A great opportunity. Look at these. I mean, when I was in school, we didn't have bowling.
No, I would have.
Man,
I would have bowled left and right.
I know
that would have been my winter sport, man.
Winter sport. That'd have been your fall sport, winter sport, spring sport, summer sport.
Listen, I'm a big fan of any sport you can do one-handed while you're eating nachos with the other one.
How about on the boys' side? Union Local gets a victory over Wheeling Park, 1890 to 1864. So a close matchup there. Yeah. For you all, Mason Porter for Union Local led with a 205 game and a 371 series. Wheeling Park led by Sam Metzner, who had a 220 best game. So good job to those bowlers. That's a close one. You know,
that's tight.
That's something. Maybe we can get to a bowling matchup.
We got to get to a bowling match. I'm gonna text Hannah. I'm gonna get a schedule from. We'll go to one. Yeah,
is it called a match?
Match schedule? I don't know.
We'll have to find out.
I want to go with bout just for the alliteration. A bowling bout.
Bowling bout. Okay. Well,
I don't know if that's the proper term for it, but I like alliteration. I like when they go together.
Yeah, I like it. How about we'll stick with bowling, Zach? We're having a great time with bowling. Let's stick with it.
Yep.
Brooke over Wheeling Central, 1607 to 1175. Brooks Dawson Poe had a 285 game and a 332 series. Wheeling Central, Xavier Millhouse had a 186 game and a 332 series. So, great job again to those bowlers. And just
we got to get the bowling.
More opportunities to do something. Oh, man.
We got to get the bowling.
Hey, great evening.
Yeah, it'd be so good.
Go watch bowling.
Yep.
Man, awesome.
Really cool. It's really cool that these opportunities are here. I mean, that's what I love. Like, I graduated high school in 2010. These opportunities weren't as diverse. It pretty much seemed like when I was in high school, it was like you had football or cross country or soccer if you were a boy in the fall. And then you had, swimming, hockey, basketball. That was it.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a wrestling team. And then in the spring,
Heck, when I was in high school,
it was pretty much track.
A couple years before you, Zach, we didn't have hockey.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even have hockey until Marshall. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, it was like in the spring, it was track. And then right when I was getting ready to leave, they started squeezing in lacrosse. Tom had a lot
baseball and softball.
Baseball and softball. And then Tom had a lot to do with the whole lacrosse sort of coming into the valley and a little bit more of a swing, which is nice to see. But, there just weren't that many options. I mean, and that was 13 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, not that long ago. And now that we have bowling, we've got more golf picking up.
Yeah,
I mean, we had a golf team.
We have middle school golf. We have middle school baseball.
The valley is exploding in terms of the sports that's offered, and it's really cool what all we get to cover here. I mean, just really taking off, and we still have those traditional sports that have those strong rivalries and those strong historical foundations. Then we see stuff like bowling starting to work its way.
Yeah,
or how I joked at the beginning of the session how robotics might be coming, and how some of these other things might be coming into sort of the athletic. Adjacent spaces, which is kind of interesting to see it pop up. So we sort of go from our game rundowns and our match breakdowns and all this sort of stuff. We went and dug around a little bit before we got on the STREAMcast here for you guys to find some of the AP basketball polls in the state of West Virginia.
Yeah, and the polls, Zach, they don't give playoff standings. They don't do anything like that.
Nope.
But don't you love looking at just a poll?
Well, it's just kind of a fun
little ranking, whether it's sports or anything, you like looking at a poll.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to see something. You want to see where your team you think they rank, and you want to say, no, we're better than this.
One of my favorite segments that they used to do. Well, there was a sports podcast I listened to that I think it was one of the Browns shows or something. But their producer came up with this idea, and he called it higher or lower. And he'd give out somebody's ranking, and they'd argue whether they should be higher up on the list or lower on the list.
Yeah.
And the one host would be like, does lower mean closer to 1, or does that mean farther from 1? They get into all these petty arguments, but the ranking stuff is so fun to look at. Where do people sit? Should they be more up the list or should they be down the list?
Yeah. Hey, so as we look at these basketball polls, we're going to start off with a boys poll. And Morgantown, the Mohegan boys, they're 8-1 on the season. That loss did not come in the state of West Virginia.
No, it did not.
And so all 10 first place votes.
That's wild.
And they're preparing for a state championship and a run at a state championship. A good basketball.
That's one of those teams that when we were talking about how great I thought Wheeling Park could be this year. That's one of those teams that's definitely going to be the one that's standing in Park's way to see what they can accomplish.
That's definitely going to be one of those teams. And if getting to coach is just was a great opportunity. Go to Morgantown to watch a basketball game.
Oh yeah.
We weren't real successful down there, but go watch a game.
They have some great jumps too.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
great place to go
then
watch
you have
a
an
game.
excuse to jump around Morgantown for some food down
Yeah,
there because there's some
definitely.
great places.
There
to
are
head
some
down
great
there.
places down there.
Oh yeah.
How about moving on? Second, Parkersburg South. They keep it rolling in
An
Parkersburg South.
OV Athletics favorite, Parkersburg South.
It is. And if you ever see their basketball team, Zach, every kid looks the same. They're the same height. Their arms are the same length. I even think sometimes they all wear the same number. I don't know if you're allowed doing that, but I think they're wearing the same number. But they look exactly the same. They shoot the same. They play the same. Good defense. Nice and long basketball players. Yep. And Parker, it just seemed like the boys team. They're always there. They're always down in Charleston. Competing for a state title.
Always.
Good job to Parkersburg South there.
Yeah.
Moving down a little bit in the polls, we see Wheeling Park at 7.
If they're at 7, that really speaks to me the strength of this Quad A field.
Oh, it's strong, Zach. And as I see some of the teams on here, you have your Huntingtons and your Jeffersons and your Greenbriers. It's going to be tough for anybody. Yep. To battle through and win that state title.
And these top 10 are tough.
And it's
They're
great
tough.
looking at the polls. And as we go in the season and further in the season, we'll break it down sections and regions because some of these teams, might be 1, 2, 3, 4, but you only get 2 teams out of that region. So, that's what makes it tough.
It's going to be really interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, definitely. AAA, not a lot.
Before we jump into AAA, we have one local team that did receive some votes in the polls. They're not in our top 10.
Okay.
But John Marshall did in fact get 2 votes.
John Marshall received two votes in the poll, and hey, they're coming along as a basketball team.
They're coming along. They're one of those teams.
I think Coach Clutter has them ready to play, and they can make a run downtown to Charleston.
We haven't got some updates from Tom in a while, but I'm not sure how that game's going.
Against University?
Against University. I haven't seen the updates.
I know. Tom didn't give us an update.
He's giving us an update.
We got a first quarter update, but we didn't get
We're live for the STREAMcast, and Tom's leaving us hanging.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't want to bother us. He thinks we're busy at work.
Oh, yeah, he knows how hard we work on this.
Definitely. Moving on, and remember now, basketball has 4 classes, so we're moving on to AAA. As we look, as I see the rankings, Fairmont Senior, we like to go down to that area. Again, have you ever been to the Armory for a basketball game,
I have
Zach?
not.
Wow. Go to the Armory. It's an armory.
Okay, so we were commenting, and I didn't look. Tom did have some updates. Wrap from the field house, the Hawks beat John Marshall 59-48.
59-48, so a close game for the Monarchs.
Yeah.
And they're coming back. They're playing tomorrow. They're doing a kind of a quadruple header at the field house.
It was a back and forth battle. It was 42-37 at one point.
Monarchs really battled.
Yeah, they really battled.
So
be sure to look out for an article on that coming from Tom.
Definitely.
As I sort of had a little sidebar in there.
If you want to go watch some basketball tomorrow, on a side note, John Marshall's playing a kind of a quad, I guess you'd call it. They're doing girls JV, girls varsity, boys JV, boys varsity.
That's awesome.
So, they're having 4 basketball games down there. So if you're looking to go watch some basketball tomorrow down at the field house, go watch the girls and the boys play.
Head down, go get some Bob's lunch for breakfast and hop over some basketball.
You definitely. Maybe down to the guest house for some lunch.
Ooh, there you go.
Hey, look at that. We're hitting them all up.
Hitting them all.
Let's see. We're talking about Fairmont Senior.
Yes, Fairmont Senior.
Going down to the Armory, watching basketball. Hey, they're undefeated. They're 6-0 right now. They got 6 first-place votes. It just seems like, I go to Charleston every year, Zach, to watch a boys tournament, and it seems like I'll be watching Fairmont Senior again.
Yep, for sure.
How about their rival? East Fairmont comes in at 5. They're also undefeated. Wouldn't mind seeing that matchup.
That would be
awesome. Fairmont
that would be
Senior.
awesome.
That'd be a great game to go
nice
see.
Little grudge match.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on, no teams there receiving votes, in our local area. Moving on to the AA field, as we look at it, we have St. Mary's.
Yep.
Coming in at 6. You know how I feel about the Devils there at St. Mary's. 5-1. They're having a good
feisty
season. You move down the rankings a little bit. Wheeling Central's 3-3. But remember, Zach, I think they had to replace 4 starters.
Yeah, they had a little bit of an injury, or not an injury, but they graduated.
They graduated some people. So 3-3 early. Okay, you're still going to have 14 games left or so, to kind of get that roster together. Mm-hmm. I think Coach Stevens is going to have it rolling when the playoffs come. That sectionals, the regionals.
Coach Stevens always has them competing. Yeah, they're definitely going to be ready to roll.
Definitely. How about in single A? I know they're not local, but look at number 1, Zach.
James Monroe.
Does it surprise you?
Hey, I picked James Monroe to win when they won in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think I was the lone stick in the mud when we picked them. Those at that level, those athletes are always playing both.
Yeah.
Always playing both, and it shows. This strong single A football team, we see them strong
Yeah, in basketball.
In basketball as well.
Now, I know we talked about the Cameron girls on here, but how about the Cameron boys coming at fourth? You know, in the AP poll, they're 4-2. You know, and they'll be playing well out there.
They'll be playing well.
You know, they play tough. Hey, if you've never been to a basketball game at Cameron, great atmosphere.
Their gym's great.
Oh, the gym is awesome.
Great.
Yeah, go out to Cameron. You know, stop at the Dragon Mart, get yourself a pepperoni roll, and head out to a Cameron basketball game. You know, looking a little further, Doddridge. Yep. You know, they come in there ranked 8. They're 4-1. You know, these basketball. Tyler Consolidated got some votes. I think they got 12 votes. You know, Weird Madonna comes in with 4 votes. So, you know, these polls.
A little bit of representation.
Yeah, the polls. It's nice to look at. Kind of look around the state. Maybe some teams that you're unaware of that you know are playing really well. You know, check them out. You know, and just see what you might be up against come the state tournament time. Definitely.
So that was our boys' side. Then we flip back over to the girls' side.
But moving over to the girls, Quad A, not a surprise.
Not a surprise at all.
Number 1, Coach Young and the Wheeling Park Patriots, 7-1. They got a big win the other week. They beat Morgantown.
And they got 7 votes.
Yeah, and they got 7 first-place votes. You know, hey, go check out a great article on obathletics.com on that Park girls team.
Yep.
They're playing really well. I got to see Coach Young actually the other day and a couple of their players, and just congratulate them on a good season so far. Wished them luck. But, you know, Wheeling Park. But now you have that target on your back.
Oh, yeah.
They have, do you know who they have coming up? Huntington.
Oh, yeah.
Who is number 4?
Number 4.
I believe they're playing Cabell this year.
I think they are.
Number 2, they'll always play Morgantown.
Always.
University's up there.
Yep.
Parkersburg South's up there.
Yep.
So, you know,
a lot of teams they're going to have to see.
Coach Young put together the schedule in the regular season to get them ready for the postseason.
Which is what they need.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's an iron sharpens iron type situation there.
Look at these. You know, Morgantown's 3rd. You know, you have University at 6, Parkersburg South at 7. All these local teams.
But then you also see, you know, John Marshall sitting out there got 7 votes. They weren't on the top 10, but they got 7 votes still. Parkersburg got 6. So a lot of teams that are still in that local space that are all contending, and Park's going to have to see them again. Most of those teams, too.
Yeah, definitely. That'll get them playoff ready.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
So we'll slide down to our AAA.
Look at AAA. We, you know, as we talk about Fairmont, there's East Fairmont. It's sitting right at 6.
Fairmont Senior 9.
Fairmont Senior at 9. Now look at that, Zach. Fairmont Senior at 9. But they're 1-6.
That's crazy.
You know, I know Fairmont Senior, their coach, he's going to have them ready to play. Tough schedule, you know, and I think that shows it. Now that 1-6, but still,
we're not super strongly represented in AAA. I included this because in our vote getting category, we had one of our local teams.
Yeah.
Oak Glen got 1 vote.
Okay, we just in the area, we just don't have the schools that are that size. Either they're bigger or smaller. We don't have schools that are in that size for the AAA.
It's that little tweener space that fits for us. That's kind of awkward in this area. But Oak Glen still got a vote, so they're at least competitive in that division.
Yeah, definitely.
So we slide down to AA.
Sliding down to AA, you know, here we go. St. Mary's, you know, coming in at 4-3, and
they're tie for 4.
I'm going to say they're pretty young. We played them last year at Sherrard. Their team, or no, 2 years ago they had a team come up. So those girls will be, you know, sophomores this year. They're a pretty good basketball team. They're not traveling
up from there if they don't have some good players.
That was a pretty good basketball team. You know, they claimed to be, you know, they were one of the best middle school teams in the state. They were traveling all around playing people. We put up a good fight against them. You know, we had some younger players play up for us, but I know they have some talent down there at St. Mary's. And then of course you look at Wheeling Central. Then we talked about them earlier. 17 3-pointers. They're 5-1. You know, Roberta Oze, she's going to have them ready.
Going to have them ready. And then I think we have, let's see here, in our local receiving votes, we had Magnolia getting 3 votes.
Yeah.
Nice to see Magnolia back in these rankings.
Definitely. Yeah. Getting ready for the sectionals and regionals.
And then single A, your darling in girls single A.
Here it is.
Cameron Dragons, your darling.
My Cameron Dragons again.
Your darling.
Go to ovathletics.com. You know, there's a great article there on the Cameron girls basketball team. Coach Pettit, you know, we sat down and had a nice interview. They're 7-3 on the season, but
they've been playing a tough schedule.
A tough schedule. Yeah.
They might be playing some tougher schedules than some of these AA teams.
You know, they play Morgantown.
Oh, yeah. And maybe some of the AAA teams.
Yeah. You know, so
they're playing some tough teams.
They're not shying away from anybody either.
Not.
So go see them. You know, they only have a couple home games left. You know, they're number 1 in the AP poll. You know, deservedly so. You know, returning state champion.
It's up to me if they're traveling to Lindsley. I'll go see them play at Lindsley.
But I tell you what, that target's on your back.
Oh, yeah.
You're number one, returning state champion. You return to everybody. Everybody wants to beat you.
Everybody wants a piece.
Everybody does. So if you look down there, Doddridge is up there. I know that's a rivalry for Cameron. You look down, there's that James Monroe again. I mean, I know they're not local, but...
And then sneaking in there, Clay Battelle at 9.
Yeah. Down in the Morgantown area, so...
And then let's see, we've got Madonna got a couple votes.
Madonna got some votes.
100 got 5 votes. I can't pass over 100.
Yeah, you can't pass by the Hornets, not at all. Hornets.
But that's our little AP rundown for West Virginia. I know we don't have really any ranking necessarily for Ohio, but we wanted to put in the West Virginia poll because it's always fun to sort of sit here and talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. We'll add that in, so some local teams in Ohio, they have some AP polls too, Union Locals up there, returning that Final Four.
Right.
And they got some other really good teams over there in Ohio. The Martins Ferry boys team's doing really well. Look forward to following them this season. Check out ovathletics.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always new stuff coming on all our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, all of that stuff. We've got a TikTok going on, I think, now. I don't know if Tom's posted anything.
Yeah.
But I hope maybe he'll post something from the beach of his book club or whatever.
If you're looking to look better on your social media,
there we go. That's a good thing.
Go to OV Nutrition.
There you go.
Okay, and just tell them, I want to look better on my Facebook, Twitter accounts, on my TikTok videos. I want to look better.
I love hearing you talk about social media. It makes me. It's almost as good as me talking about basketball.
It is, and I know my terms, Zach. I know them all. Yeah, I know them all. So go to OV Nutrition. Get yourself some cinnamon cereal crunch. Get yourself some peanut butter cup protein powders. Bulk up a little bit. Your creatine, they have it over there. They have weight loss. If you're looking at weight loss, they have some weight loss supplements. They have multivitamins. They have all kind of things to meet your nutritional needs. So as you're going to, go to the beach, go to see for yourself, you're going to go on vacation. You're going to go to Swans and get some new clothes. You're going to
update your insurance.
Hey, update health insurance.
There we go.
You want life insurance. You want to look good for your life insurance. Hey, if you want to pay out them big bucks, you got to look good. You got to be healthy, right?
Yep.
Go visit all of our sponsors.
But thank you to our sponsors. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the little bell on our channel so you get notifications when we go live and do stupid stuff like this. Or our videos are always found on our
What else
website
would you want to do on a Friday night than watch us goofballs?
Hey, seriously, what better to do on a Friday night? I think we sitting over there, wonderful 0 viewers right now, so hopefully that number will climb up a little bit. Thank you guys so much. This is so much fun. We love talking to our empty room here sometimes, right?
See you next week.
See you next week, guys.